everybody, and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. And it's the big one this weekend, United and Liverpool. Obviously 3 points cleared at the top of the table. Absolutely would love, like there's no tomorrow, I would love to get the 3 points on Sunday and go 6 points clear of Liverpool. That wouldn't necessarily mean we'd be 6 points clear at the top. I think at least one team, I think Leicester could overtake them if they win, if they win their game this weekend. But we'd be 6 points clear of Liverpool if we can win on Sunday. I would probably take a draw. It's so tight. Well, I would take a draw. It's such a tough game. But I do believe that we've got a good chance. I do believe more so than I have for a while. Confidence is high. The team's playing well. Liverpool are not quite what they have been over the last year or 2 or 3 years. I do believe that we've got a really good chance of winning. But hand on heart, if somebody said to me now you can have a draw there, I will probably take it. That'd suit City, by the way. You know, don't start thinking that it's between us and Liverpool by any stretch of the imagination. If it was a draw, I think City could go top by winning the games in hand that they've got, or the game in hand that they've got. So you know, it's not just a 2-horse race, but just staying above Liverpool would be important. So even a draw would see us stay 3 points ahead of them. I've been to the game at Anfield on many occasions. The very first United-Liverpool game I went to at Anfield was way back in September of 1971. As much as I can remember the game like it was yesterday, I had to look up I had to Google it to find out the actual date. September the 25th, 1971. A 2-2 draw. I was 12 at the time. Easy enough to work out because I've got the date. I was 12 at the time, and I find it fascinating when I look back at that. I even remember who I went to the game with. Used to live next door to two brothers, John and Anthony Walsh. And John was my age, and his brother Anthony was at least 4 years older than us, maybe 5 or 6 years older than us. He might have been 17 or 18. But my parents, and I can't imagine that in this day and age, but my parents allowed me to go to Anfield on the train, to Liverpool on the train, where we walked from Lime Street Station to the stadium and back with this young lad, not much more than a child himself, and I was 12 years of age. But I was at that game at Anfield. And as a 12-year-old, it's the first thing I can remember that was ever said to me that made me think about football in a different way. United were 2-0 down at half-time, and I was in bits, and I was envisaging a 4 or 5-0 thrashing. And the lad that was with Anthony, as I say, he was 4 or 5 years older than me, and he said to me, we're not out of this game yet. I looked at him like he had two heads. I said, what do you mean we're not out of this game yet, as a 12-year-old kid? And he said to me, I'll never forget it, as long ago as it was, he said to me, the work rate and the effort and the speed that they've played at, he said they won't be able to keep that up in the second half. The second half is going to change, he said. Mark my words, the second half is going to change. And lo and behold, and I should have thought better of it just because we had Charlton, Best and Law in that team. And Dennis Law got a goal back. Bobby Charlton scored an absolutely thunderous equaliser. And United got a 2-2 draw. What a game to be at, by the way. George Best pulled the ball back for Dennis Law to score the first goal, and then he also laid the ball into Charlton's path for him to crash it home from the corner of the box. So a 2-2 draw at Anfield, and George Best got 2 assists, and Bobby Charlton and Dennis Law scored the goals. Fantastic memories, a fantastic game, and massive rivalry in this game. I've been to many games since then. I'll just mention a few, the games at Anfield that I've been to. I was there the day that Gary Pallister scored 2 headers. Again, I've had to look up the absolute date. It was April 97. United went on to win the league. They won that game 3-1. And that particular game, I ended up with a ticket that was in the main stand of so I was sitting with Liverpool fans, and the staunch fans all over the ground. and I was actually sat at the end, which was the Kop end, but I was sat in the main stand, so I was facing the penalty spot, roughly in line. He scored from sort of the 6-yard box, or between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. Gary Pallister scored 2 headers, and I had to sit there silently as if I wasn't pleased that United had scored. It was a weird experience, but at the same time it was a fantastic experience. I'll never forget it. And United went on to win the title. I was there in 1999, this time in the United end behind the goal. Dennis Irwin had scored one of our goals, and we were leading, and Dennis Irwin got sent off for a second yellow, a really soft second yellow, where the ball went out. I think it went out for a throw-in, if I remember rightly, and he just tapped it a bit. He didn't really blast it away, and he just tapped it a bit further away, and the referee booked him for kicking the ball away, and it was his second yellow. So Dennis had to go for such an innocuous thing. He had to go, which then meant, by the way, that Dennis Irwin was suspended for the FA Cup final, and it's strange. It's strange how things work. First of all, he was suspended for the FA Cup final, and there and then I was devastated for him. And as a fan, I was devastated that United would be slightly weakened, because he was a fantastic player, Dennis Irwin. United was slightly weakened for the FA Cup final, but little was I to know that the boss was going to rest numerous players with us being in the Champions League final. So this is triple year. So Dennis is missing for the FA Cup final, but Phil Neville deputised at left back, and Phil Neville was a fantastic player in his own right back or left back, centre midfield even, and he was a fantastic player. And I'd love to actually ask Fergie, I'd love to ask him if maybe that might have been a change he might have made. He made other changes. Jaap Stam was on the bench at the FA Cup final, Dwight York was on the bench at the FA Cup final, and Teddy Sheringham. So who's to say who would have who would have started in that game? We probably never know. Dennis Irwin might not have played anyway. But I also think about fate me at times. If the boss had it in his mind to play Dennis Irwin, then Dennis Irwin could feasibly have got injured in that FA Cup final. That's why you rest players. So had Dennis Irwin not been suspended, he might have played, might have got injured, which might have meant that he couldn't have played in the Champions League final the following Wednesday. So, you just never know. It could. There's only a minuscule chance, but it just might have fell into our hands and worked for us that he actually did get that red card and was definitely then available to play in the Champions League final the following Wednesday night. So that was a great experience. Another great experience was I was there the day Forlan scored twice. I was also there with John O'Shea's last minute equaliser. As I say, lots and lots of games I could recount. One other occasion I was actually there where I was sat with the wrong fans. I was sat there the day Peter Crouch scored against us in the FA Cup and Liverpool knocked us out of the cup. And I went to that game with a friend of mine. We had two seats again in the main stand. And he's neither a United fan nor a Liverpool fan. He just was there for the day out, wanted to go to the game. So he's not a fan of either club, and I didn't expect to happen what actually happened. What did happen, and it's a funny old thing, football. When we won there, and I was sat with the wrong fans, and we won when Pallister scored, I thought I better sit still. If I jump up, I'm going to cause a right scene. But when they're winning, they don't mind that you're a United fan. That's how it appears to me, because when Liverpool scored against us in the cup and we were getting beat, I still sat there all forlorn. I didn't jump up clapping and cheering like they were doing, so it was obvious that I was a United fan, but it didn't appear to matter that I was a United fan, obviously, because they were winning. So, obviously, in other words, I let them know that I was a United fan when we were losing, but it might be a good thing I didn't do that when we were winning. One other quick thing about that, my old mate who was with that day, he wasn't a supporter of either club, but he jumped up clapping and cheering, and I was sat down and he was rubbing my head as it going like that to me and taking a mickey out of me, if you like. But some fantastic, that wasn't such a great experience, but that's a few of the games that I've been to. I've been to lots of games. As I say, it's a fantastic rivalry. And this game is going to be such a strange one. No supporters. I just can't understand how different it must be for the players. And really speaking, the atmosphere that actually they create at Anfield, and particularly for the game against us, that's another tiny little thing, but it might not be a tiny little thing. It could be a big thing that's slightly in our favour, in that we're going to Anfield when there's no crowd there. And I really think that could be another bonus, apart from the fact that Liverpool are not quite going as they are, and apart from the fact that they've got one or two injury issues. I know we've got a couple of injury issues, but particularly Van Dijk, I know he's been out for a while now, but he's massively important to him, massively. And I really have got a good feeling about this weekend. And like I say, I think we can win. I mean, I would take a draw, but I honestly think we can win. I'm really hopeful. What will Ollie do this weekend? I've got two teams written down in front of me. A team that I'd like to see play, and then the team that I think he'll play. And I've heard that he said this afternoon that Marshall is looking like he'll be fit, or certainly isn't ruled out. He just said that Phil Jones is ruled out. I can't remember who else he said, but it was somebody else who's not really who you would think would be, having a chance of playing in the starting lineup anyway. So the team that I'd like to see him play this weekend in that game at Anfield, I'd like him to go with De Gea in goal. I'd like to see a back four. Obviously, in some big games in recent years, quite a few big games in the recent couple of years, we've played with a back five. The only idea of a back five, it gives you the third centre back, it gives you a bit of extra insurance, and it means that you can invite pressure on, and that you can play on the break, and the gaps between four defenders are a bit bigger than the gaps between five defenders. And when these are trying to play through you, the gaps are smaller. That's all it's about, making you more difficult to play against, more difficult to break down, and obviously giving you that chance to play on the break. But I think he's grown in confidence, Ollie, over a couple of seasons, and I really think it'll be a back four. I'm confident it'll be a back four, and I think that back four will be Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. There's a massive groundswell of opinion for Eric Bailly to play. I don't see it. I still think he's a little bit more erratic. I think Lindelof's a cooler, calmer customer. I think his passing's a little bit better. And I think Ollie will see it that way as well. So, this is the team that I'd pick anyway, but Lindelof's also in my team when I come to it, that I think Ollie will pick. But this is, as I say, this is my team. I would go with Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw at the back. I would go with three in midfield. I would bring McTominay back in. I think Matic and Pogba have played together in 3 recent games. The win against Wolves, the win against Everton, and the win just the other night against Burnley. I know this is a different kettle of fish, Liverpool. Although Everton away is a tough game, Wolves are a difficult team to play against. Well, all Premier League teams, that's as if to say Burnley aren't. I know they're a different style of team, but Burnley away is a tricky little fixture. Matic and Pogba have played in those 3 games. United haven't conceded a goal in those 3 games, and they've also played, I believe, the better football. I believe we've played better. I believe that we've held onto the ball better. I believe we've moved the opposition around better, and I also believe that the clean sheets are there not because we're defending necessarily better, but mainly because we're holding the ball better. When you have more of the ball and the opposition have got less of the ball, they've got less opportunity to try to score. They've got less opportunity to try to break you down. So I believe that our clean sheets recently, when Matic and Pogba have played, have been that we've kept hold of the ball better. Not necessarily that we've defended any better as such. So I would go with McTominay, Matic and Pogba. And for a change, I believe that midfield 3 could take control of the game. I believe they could take control of the game. Be a lot of people plumping for Fred. I think Fred should play. A lot of people, anyone who says that they think Fred should play, if you ask them why, the first thing they will say is his work rate, his effort, his tackling, which amazes me, by the way, because some of the same people say that McTominay is a passion merchant, and that's the main thing, really. That Fred, that's what Fred bases his game on: his work rate, his effort, and his tackling. Well, I think we're better than that now. I think with McTominay, Matic, and Pogba, we can keep hold of the ball better. We can run them round a little bit. We can make them try to get the ball off us more than we are trying to get the ball off them. And that's what I'd like to see: McTominay, Matic, and Pogba. At number 10, it's obviously going to be Bruno. I'll come to Ollie's team in a minute, but it's obviously going to be Bruno. It'll be a bit churlish of me to say that I'd like to see Van der Beek play there. First of all the other things that I've said, there's a chance they might happen. There's no chance whatsoever of that happening. But I do believe that we could go to Anfield and absolutely keep hold of that ball so well and give him such a tough time by keeping hold of it, by not playing difficult passes, by not taking on shots from too far out. I think Van der Beek would be perfect for this game. So I would rather have Van der Beek there, but I'm not putting him in my team purely and simply because I believe there's absolutely no chance whatsoever of that happening. So I'll be quite happy if I could get the rest of this 11 to be the 11 if we have Bruno at 10, McTominay, Matic and Pogba in the middle, and Cavani and Martial up front. I believe Cavani and Martial up front, again, the very same reasoning, better at getting hold of the ball, getting it on the floor, winning a few free kicks, allowing us up the field, then starting to play again and keeping the ball better in the final third. So that would be my 11. I'm not even, when I recount it, I'm not even going to mention Van der Beek because I would settle for this 11 with Bruno at 10. So I would go David De Gea, I'd go Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw, I'd go McTominay, Matic and Pogba, I'd go Bruno at number 10 and Cavani and Martial as the two strikers. That would be my starting 11. What do I think the boss will go with? Not a massive deal of difference, but there's a few differences. I think, or a couple. I think he'll go with De Gea in goal, obviously. I think he'll go with the same back four. I think Ollie will see it like I see it. I honestly believe Lindelof has been having a few little injury problems with his back. And I think he might have even been possibly fit to play on Wednesday. Tuesday, was it? We played Burnley, sorry. I think he might have purely been left out of that game in order to play in this game. And I think the boss has got that dead right. And that's what I think will happen. I think the back four will be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. I said McTominay, Matic and Pogba. I think he'll go with McTominay, Fred and Pogba. He does seem to play McTominay and Fred together a lot. Like I say, I think we could control the game better if Matic played. But that's what I think the boss will go with. McTominay, Fred and Pogba. He'll definitely go with Bruno at number 10, which, if he goes with all that, only leaves room for two forwards. As I say, I went with Cavani and Martial. I think Rashford will be the first name on his team sheet. He'd be the last on mine of the striking players. So I think Rashford will play, and I think Martial, I mean, I've got to make a guess at it. Martial came off with a twinge. He has said that he expects him to be fit, but he did have that twinge. I think it might be the perfect excuse for the boss to say to him, have a breather, you start on the bench. So I'm going to go for Rashford and Cavani. So to recap on the boss's team, the actual team, I think he's going to go David De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. I think he's going to go McTominay, Fred and Pogba with Bruno at number 10. And I think he's going to go with Rashford and Cavani up top. Whichever lineup he goes with, desperately hope we get the 3 points. I just can't imagine, couldn't have imagined earlier in the season being in this position in January, thinking that there's even a chance that we could go, not just top, but a chance that we could go 6 points clear at the top. We'd need one or two other results for it to remain at 6 points. I'm not talking about just above Liverpool, so I'm about above everybody. We'd need another result or two to go our way to remain 6 points in front. But there is a chance we could be 6 points clear of the rest come Sunday night. If you'd have said that to me back in, I don't know, October, November, I would have thought you was a raving madman. But here we are in this position. I can't believe it. Just a quick and a tiny quick look ahead, because this is such an important game. We don't need to look further ahead. I've been watching Fulham's games recently. They look absolutely fantastic. They really do. I was watching the game against Spurs the other day. Wasn't surprised. I was almost expecting them to equalise. They do look a decent team. So no sooner have we played Liverpool, but we've got Fulham away. I'm just touching on that because I've seen things like this happen so often before. I'm praying we don't beat Liverpool. I'm praying we do beat Liverpool. I'm praying we don't beat Liverpool and take the foot off the gas and end up going to Craven Cottage, and even dropping points at Craven Cottage would be a disaster. We'd have to win there. If we can beat Liverpool, we've got to keep this run going for as long as we possibly can. So that's that. Let's hope come Sunday night we've got that 6-point lead, or even 5 points if it happens to be above the other teams. I hope you've enjoyed that little show. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe. Please tell all your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anyone. Keep stum.